Okay, so instead of having lunch, I came across the Maritime Museum, which is in between Glen Haven and where I was on the Sleeping Bear Point Trail. And I know you can't read this, so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it. It's Sleeping Bear Point Life-Saving Station, and it was built in 1901 along the dunes of Sleeping Bear Point. And the station was equipped so that it could save ships that were in trouble along this stretch of Lake Michigan. More than 50 ships got into trouble and have wrecked along this area, and so the United States Life-Saving Service guarded this shore. So they were equipped, well, what you see here is an old picture of it, but they were equipped with line-throwing cannons and rowing lifeboats. They stood ready to help the ships in distress. The most important thing, though, was the skill and courage and the dedication of the men and women who lived here. There's a saying that you can go out, you might not come back, something like that. I'm sure I don't have it correct, but their courage was incredible. So it was built in 1901. It was nearly buried by the moving sand. Horses pulled the building to this site that I'm at right now in 1931. And the U.S. Coast Guard started running this in, I think, 1915. And then it closed in the early 1940s. But what they've done is made it into a museum area. And I'm just going to take you on a little walk and show you what there is. But it's kind of funny, as I'm walking, I see, I don't know if I can show it, get it down to you here, but all this cotton along the paths. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's all this cotton from the cottonwood trees. There's so many cottonwood trees here, it's incredible. They must love this environment to thrive in. As I'm walking, the red building, I think they made into bathrooms. Beyond the red building on the white, I don't know if you can see it, but the building with the steeple, that's actually the life-saving station. And inside there are replicas of the machines that they had and the boats that they used. And then the house is actually where the men and women lived. So I'm going to shut off so I don't wiggle this too much and tell you more when I get closer. Okay, so I'm at a little billboard here, and this is a boat that was called the Rising Sun, and it ran aground right off of Pyramid Point. And what this says is, as the Great Lakes area began to prosper, the Manitou Passage, and you know why it's called the Manitou Passage, right? Because it goes right by the North and South Manitou Islands. Anyway, the Manitou Passage was a very narrow channel, but that area became a major shipping lane for people to dock at Glen Haven to pick up the lumber they needed and the fuel wood. But often the fog, storms, and shoals caused more than 80 wrecks, it says here, in the Sleeping Bear area. Most of the ships that wrecked ran aground. As a result, a number of lighthouses and life-saving stations were built along these shores. Alright, tell you more in a few minutes. Okay, I'm really close to the boathouse. And if I can do this right, I can zoom out a little bit so you can see it better. I don't think I can, but that's the entry to the boathouse. And inside, if a ship ran aground, the crew would wheel out the beach cart, fire a line to the ship with the Lyle gun, and use the breeches buoy to haul sailors to safety. The boathouse presently contains a fully equipped beach cart, as well as lifeboats and a lifeboat wagon. So this is an old picture showing how they would set up the breeches buoy, and then that would be shot out to the lake and hopefully could rescue the sailors. Alright, hang on, I'll show you one more thing. Okay, so this is the other side of the boathouse, and there's a boat right inside there, and what they would do is, if they needed to, of course there was less distance from here, from the boathouse to the water. But what they would do is they'd get horse-drawn wagons and go along this railroad track and bring it on out to the water. There has been much sand built up, so the shore is actually much further away than it was back then. So hope you enjoyed this. I think I am not doing this justice. You need to come out here and see this yourself. Yesterday I was grateful to be able to watch a volunteer for the national parks do a rescue mission with Raggedy Ann and Andy for kids, and it took place in this little field area, and it was the coolest thing. Fantastic. Here one more time is where the sailors, the men and women, lived, and this is just a really cool place. A lot of people, you know, will come to Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore to climb the dunes, and that's a fun thing, but boy, there's a lot of history, a lot of geology to think about how this all came to be, and also the effects that humans have on this area. But you know what? My tummy's growling and I must get some lunch, so I'm going to have to catch up with you pretty soon.